Imagine this. You're scrolling through TikTok and a 22-year-old is flexing their salary slip, $5,000 a month. Impressive, right? But here's the twist. That same person is also dodging credit card calls, living paycheck to paycheck, and praying their get-rich-quick crypto bet moons overnight. Welcome to the paradox of GenZFinance, earning more than ever, yet drowning in debt faster than you can say afterpay. This isn't just a few bad apples overspending on iced lattes or the latest iPhone. No, it's a social financial matter, a generational pattern that reveals something deeper about money, psychology, and the culture we live in. Because on paper, Gen Z is killing it. They're tech-savvy, have more opportunities to make money online, and some are even hitting six figures before turning 25. But behind the scenes, and debt piles up, budgets vanish, financial anxiety skyrockets. So, how can a generation earn so much and still stay broke? That's the story we're unpacking today. If you ask your parents what they spent money on in their 20s, you'd probably hear things like, "We saved for a car, bought furniture, maybe a house deposit if we were lucky." Ask a Gen Zer today, the answers sound a little different. Coachella tickets, a trip to Bali, a new drop on TikTok shop, and oh, I just invested in a meme coin that Elon Musk tweeted about. Welcome to the Gen Z spending philosophy. One big psychological driver is that Gen Z values experiences far more than things. And honestly, who can blame them? They grew up in an era where social media turned moments into currency. You don't just go to dinner, you film it for Instagram. You don't just go on vacation, you curate a Bali aesthetic for TikTok. Money isn't just about owning. It's about showing, and here's the kicker. Experiences don't come cheap. You can stretch out the life of a new sofa for 10 years. But a music festival, that's $500 gone in a weekend. Multiply that by travel, events, content-worthy restaurants. And suddenly, the paycheck disappears faster than the memories you're paying for. Now, combine this with the FOMO economy. Gen Z is the first generation raised with one-click shopping as a default setting. See it, want it, swipe it, own it. No waiting until payday. No saving up for weeks. Just tap your phone and boom, package on your doorstep tomorrow. And it's not just convenience. It's psychology. Algorithms are designed to make you feel like if you don't buy that trending skincare set or limited edition sneaker right now, you'll miss out. FOMO isn't just a feeling, it's a business model. It's why TikTok Shop, Shein hauls, and Amazon Prime Day feel irresistible. Shopping isn't a chore anymore, it's content. And every scroll is another tiny little purchase that adds up to a massive hole in your budget. Now let's talk about the third psychological factor, the illusion of invest fast, get rich fast. On one hand, it's a good thing that Gen Z is more financially curious than past generations. They're not afraid of crypto, NFTs, or new investing platforms. They want to make their money work for them, which sounds smart. In theory. But here's the problem. When you grow up watching people flip Dogecoin into Lambos overnight, you start thinking that's how money works. This mindset makes Gen Z extremely vulnerable to risky schemes. The meme coins, passive income scams, and get-rich gurus selling courses on YouTube. Instead of building wealth steadily, many chase shortcuts, and ironically, those shortcuts often lead straight into debt. Because when the coin crashes, or the trend dies, the loss doesn't just wipe out savings. It pushes people to borrow more, gamble more, and dig deeper holes. Before we get into the next part, let me quickly share something interesting. It's called Unique OTC Exchange, a platform built on smart contracts to make crypto OTC trading safer and more transparent, especially with pre-TGE tokens. And the AFE numbers speak for themselves. Over 1 B in on-chain volume, 20 minutos in revenue, 5 M+ users, and even topping pre-market trading ahead of big CEXs. Projects like Doodles or Pump.fun, they each hit up to $20 on Unique. Of course, this isn't financial advice. Always do your own research. I've dropped a link below if you want to check it out. So far, we've seen why Gen Z's lifestyle makes it so easy to overspend. But here's where it gets dangerous. The money trap's waiting to catch them. Because when fun now, pay later becomes the norm. Well, guess what? Someone always has to pay later. Let's start with the most obvious, and the most ignored. Many Gen Zers live in what we could call the illusion of affordability. They're earning more than past generations at the same age, which creates this idea that I can afford more because I make more. But here's the trick. Lifestyle inflation eats income like Pac-Man. That $4,000 salary feels big until rent, subscriptions, takeout, festivals, in that one little online splurge, swallow it whole. And because experiences and shopping feel essential in a culture driven by social proof, people justify overspending. The result? Outgoings quietly creep past income, and nobody notices until the bank account hits zero. Now, overspending on its own is bad. But overspending with easy credit? That's a recipe for disaster. Gen Z has unprecedented access to credit cards, the digital wallets, and buy now, pay later, BNPL apps like Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm. At first, it feels empowering. Wow, I can buy things now and pay them off in small chunks. But here's the catch. These small chunks stack up like Jenga blocks. Suddenly, you're juggling 4 payments at once. Sneakers, a concert ticket, a new phone, and the manageable $40 installments become an avalanche. And the credit card? That's even worse. Interest rates can easily hit 20% or more. So that $200 dinner you thought you'd just pay off later, it ends up costing you $260, $280, maybe $300. For banks, it's genius. For Gen Z, it's a trap disguised as freedom. Then there are the personal loans. In many countries, lenders aggressively market small consumer loans. Want the newest iPhone? No problem, pay it back over 12 months. But what they don't highlight is the high interest and hidden fees. Gen Z, eager to maintain the lifestyle they see online, often takes the bait. Instead of saving up for a big purchase, they borrow. Instead of waiting, they finance. This creates what's called lifestyle debt, owing money not for emergencies, not for investments, but for non-essential consumption. It's like digging a financial hole just to stand on level ground. Up to now, we've talked about lifestyle choices, overspending, credit cards, and bad money habits. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Gen Z didn't create this environment alone. They're playing in a system that practically rewards debt, punishes saving, and glamorizes spending. This isn't just personal finance. It's a social financial matter. First, let's talk about the economy Gen Z walked into. For millennials and Gen X, the financial dream was clearer. Get a degree, work hard, save for a house, and build wealth slowly. But by the time Gen Z came of age, things looked different. Housing prices skyrocketed far beyond wage growth. Inflation made everyday living more expensive. Student debt ballooned in many countries. Job markets became unstable, with contract work and gig jobs replacing steady careers. So while Gen Z might earn more at the start than previous generations, the costs they face are also far higher. And when the big financial milestones like buying a home feel out of reach, many say, "Why bother saving for something I can't afford anyway? I'd rather spend now and enjoy life." It's not irresponsibility. It's rationalization in an economy that feels stacked against them. Then comes the cultural layer, the flex economy. Gen Z is the first generation fully raised in the age of social media, where comparison isn't occasional, it's constant. Scroll Instagram, and everyone seems richer, happier, and more successful. But what you're really seeing is curated wealth. Someone who just financed their car posts it like they paid in cash. Someone on vacation might actually be drowning in credit card debt. And because status is now performed online, spending becomes social currency. Even if you can't afford it, you feel pressure to keep up or risk looking left behind. So here's where we land. Gen Z isn't broke because they're lazy. They're not in debt because they don't earn enough. In fact, they're hustling, creating, and building incomes at levels previous generations would envy. The paradox is this: a generation earning more, yet trapped by systems, habits, and cultures that drain that wealth before it can grow. Before we bring this to a close, I want to remind you about Unic has recently launched their public token sale, the Unic IDO, as part of their token generation event. The goal is to raise funds through 100,000 UN tokens, starting at 0.15 and gradually rising as supply decreases. Early participants are rewarded for joining sooner rather than later. Check out the link below to dive in if this caught your interest. Just sharing info, not advice. Always research before making decisions. So let me leave you with this question. If you're part of Gen Z, or even just watching their journey, what's one financial habit you think could change the game for this generation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into money and culture. And share this video with a friend who might need a little financial reality check. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.